Oregon City, it's the oldest incorporated town west of the Rockies in Oregon, and it's one of the fastest growing parts of the Portland metropolitan area. In this video, I'm going to show you why. Hey everyone, Seth Marchant with the Home Team Brokers here, coming to you today from Oregon City. If you're new to this channel, living in Oregon, we show you what it's like to live in Oregon. In this case, we're going to give you a tour of Oregon City. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure and hit the subscribe button, tap the bell, that way you'll get notified each time we drop a new video, which is about twice a week. If you're somebody that's thinking about moving around the Portland metropolitan area, as realtors, we always love to hear from you and we want to help. So give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or you can click the link below in the description if you want to schedule a Zoom. Typically best for people coming from out of state. All right, let me take you around Oregon City now. All right, so here we are in downtown Oregon City. Oregon City is in Clackamas County. It's on the east side of the river. We're actually just on the other side now of the Willamette River from West Linn. If you watched our West Linn vlog, Oregon City is very similar to West Linn. They've got a sort of older historic downtown. In fact, Oregon City is the oldest incorporated city east of the Rocky Mountains. It's you might know this, but this is where the settlers that came along the Oregon Trail initially settled. So it's got an old sort of historic feel to it. A lot of the population sort of centers around the downtown, but it is larger than West Linn. There's about 40,000 people in the city limit. And if you look up Oregon City, if you look at a map of Oregon City and you look at the city limits, that's where most of your 40,000 people reside. But the zip code for Oregon City is 97045. And if you look at the lines for the zip code 97045, you'll notice that it is a very, very large geographical area. So I mentioned to you in the West Linn vlog that West Linn sort of has a rural feel to it. Well, Oregon City has an even more rural feel to it. In fact, it's really probably the most rural area in the Portland metro area that's maybe within 30 minutes or so of the Portland metro. There's a few spots in Clackamas County that are pretty far away from Portland, pretty rural, but not exactly areas that people necessarily consider kind of part of the Portland metro area. Oregon City has one high school. They just actually built that about 20 years ago, so it's sort of new. The original high school was built back in the 1800s, so they were definitely due for a new high school. This is a fun little factory right here. The Oregon City Municipal elevator. This is I believe, the only operating outdoor elevator left in the United States. So this downtown is a place where a lot of people come. They've adapted to a lot of the sort of the COVID life, if you will. You can kind of see the outdoor seating. Most of the restaurants here now have outdoor seating that's been added over the past few years due to all the changes. This is also where the farmers market is too. It's a great farmers market. Got some great restaurants and shops down here, so it's a really nice downtown. It draws a lot of people in here. They do have food carts too. The food carts are the things that have been drawing a lot of people down here more recently. All in all, I would say the shopping here is pretty good. A little bit better than West Linn. There's quite a few different strip malls and shopping malls, from the Oregon City Shopping Center to OC Point to Berry Hill. Got the Fred Meyers with all the different stores in there. The road I'm walking on is Main Street, and just one block over is Highway 99, also known as McLaughlin. If you head to the north, that'll take you to Milwaukee. If you head to the south, that'll take you to Canby. And then just right down the road, you have I-205. So you've got close, easy access to kind of the major roads around here. A lot of people that live kind of around this area, downtown area, are taking I-205 or 99 McLaughlin to get here. Other than that, there's one kind of major road that takes you towards the top of the hill in Oregon City. And again, Oregon City is sort of similar to West Linn in that you have one kind of big hill where there's a lot of people, and that is Highway 213. That can get a little bit congested with as many people as are here, just to take that kind of one road to go everywhere. But all in all, the traffic isn't too bad here. I would say it's probably about average. The courthouse right here. Probably not a place that you want to have to visit. This is also too where they right there in the wintertime they do Christmas tree lighting for Christmas, which is pretty cool. That draws a lot of people in here. So there's quite a few different events that draw people to downtown Oregon City. I'm going to take you up towards the top of the hill, give you some drone footage, show you around a little bit more. There's quite a few things to do in Oregon City. I think all in all, there's probably enough shopping and things to do that people don't necessarily tend to venture out from Oregon City too much. You've got some golf courses here. You've got a fair amount of wineries here too. Some pretty unique wineries actually here, which also draw a lot of people here for weddings. There's some pretty good wedding venues as well. And all in all, Oregon City's kind of got a small town feel to it. I think most of the people that live here appreciate and kind of like that small town feel that it has to it, but you're not too far away from everything. You see you've got this restaurant, the Verdict Bar and Grill. It's kind of funny, right across from the courthouse. All right, so now I'm going to take you around the town. Like I mentioned, I'm going to show you a little bit more, show you some of the houses here, give you kind of a little bit of the feel for the area. First, I'm going to start by taking you over the Oregon City Bridge. This bridge was, and the falls are to the right. We'll get a better look at those when we go up on top of the hill. This bridge was actually recently renovated. It's been, I think, here for at least 100 years. It's very narrow, kind of, as you can see. Actually, when they were doing a lot of the construction on it, I think a lot of people wondered if they were going to make a larger bridge. But no, just reinforcing the bridge. And then you see the Oregon City Municipal elevator in the back there again. If you're in the area, definitely check it out. Take a little ride up that area. You can see just straight ahead, that's where you can enter the elevator from the bottom, or you can, of course, enter it up at the top once you get up to the top of the hill. And I'll take you up there after we go through downtown Oregon City. One thing that you're going to see up there, too, that's really cool is you have a much better view of Willamette Falls. You're also going to know there's a lot of sort of abandoned, defunct industrial area. It's actually pretty big, pretty surprising that it's there's so much commercial industrial area that's been abandoned for as long as I can remember, decades. But there is something called the Willamette Falls Legacy Project that's been in talks for about 10 years or so between local developers and I think a few local tribes as well. So they're kind of working out how they can remove all of that industrial stuff, and they're going to replace it with a river walk that will go all along the river. I'm not sure how long it is, but probably be at least a few miles. I'll actually put a link in the description for the Willamette Falls Legacy Project if you want to read more about that. Other than the river walk, there's supposed to be condos and shops, and it's described as a world-class public space. It's definitely an awesome space that's really kind of a shame that it's really not kind of getting used and enjoyed by people. Just, again, with all those old buildings sitting there right now. The average age for Oregon City is, the demographics say 38. Feels a little bit young to me. Oregon City is described as a great place for young people to live and to raise a family. It's also a good place to retire, too. There are a few places throughout Oregon City that the demographic skews pretty old, specifically up Springwater, which would be outside of city limits, still considered Oregon City, but technically outside of city limits. You'll find a lot of rural properties that might be mid-century homes, 3-bed, 2-bath, 1-level, an acre. So definitely people that want to have a little bit more land and not be too far away from the Portland downtown or Portland metropolitan area. Oregon City is probably going to be one of your probably more affordable places to be close to town and actually have some acreage. As we come up to this next intersection here, we're going to take a ride up here, and that'll take us to the food carts. You also notice on the left, when we take this right turn up here, you have Oregon City Brewing, which is also a very popular spot. Olympic Provisions is in there too, which Olympic Provisions is one of the kind of the top restaurants kind of in the Portland metropolitan area. They have at least one spot downtown, and it was only recently that they came into Oregon City Brewing and started offering food at Oregon City Brewing. So there's the Oregon City Brewing on the left, and then the food carts on the right. And I'll take you through the food carts and show you a little bit more what it looks like inside as I turn right up here to go up to the top of the hill towards the municipal elevator that we saw just a moment ago. All right, so taking you now inside of the food cart area, you've got axe throwing right there. Never tried that myself. I'm kind of surprised that that stuff has stuck around as long as it has. It seems like a massive liability. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried out axe throwing anywhere and kind of what the experience was like. I've seen definitely a few sort of blooper videos of the axe coming back at people. Again, I'm really surprised that that hasn't gone away yet, but you see it everywhere. So these are the pods. You've got a pretty good variety of food. As you can see on the left, you have a ton of seating, ton of covered seating. So this can accommodate a lot of people. And on a busy day, most of that seating is getting filled too. So like I said, this is a really popular spot right now for people to come. And then you've also you've got a tap room. So if you want to be completely on the inside, if it's rainy day, which does happen here in Oregon, you can escape a little bit of the rain and the weather and the cold. They do have heat lamps out here when it's cold, but if you want to be inside, you can do that as well. Or take a little peek inside. Always make sure to hold the door open for people. As you can kind of see back there on the wall, pretty extensive tap list. Next, we're going to get back in the car, head up Molalla, head towards the top of the hill. Right behind us is the Oregon City Municipal elevator. There's a little view from the top. Again, definitely check it out if you're in the area. So Molalla connects all the way from downtown. This takes you all the way to Highway 213. That's the other area that I mentioned that a lot of people are getting to Oregon City, to and from work that live in Oregon City. Up here on the right, you've got the Oregon City Library, which is a great spot for kids, family, things to do. There's a lot of things that they offer that are at no cost. And then just beyond that, up here on the right side is where the old Oregon City High School used to be. The new high school is going to be at the very top of the hill, right behind the Clackamas Community College, and I'll take you there next. So now we're at the top of the hill, kind of where Molalla intersects to Highway 213. This park that you see below is a brand new park. It was just completed just a few months ago. And now kind of going up in the air here, you'll kind of get a feel for what it's like a little bit more towards outside of the city limits. You're going to have more of a suburban feel, a lot more newer homes, again, downtown, older, historic type of homes. So if you kind of like those older, charming type of homes, you're really going to only kind of find those downtown. Out here, and if we just pan to the left, you're going to see the high school. A lot of new construction out here. There's a lot of undeveloped land, as you'll kind of see. So if you're watching this video 6 months, year, even a couple years down the road, you could probably expect that there's going to be some new homes that are still currently being built, especially given that builders are so backed up right now. And their timelines, usually for builders, are like 8 or 9 months, something like that, if they're banging out quite a few homes in a large subdivision. But now home completion is closer to like 12, 13, maybe even 15 months. Kind of back in the upper left-hand corner too, you can see a little bit of construction there. That's some affordable housing that's going in, and it's just across the high school there, as we can kind of start to see the high school, the football field, baseball fields. And then to the left, we'll see here in just a moment, is where Clackamas Community College is. It's one of 3 community colleges in the Portland metropolitan area. I think it's the biggest. If it's not, it's one of the bigger ones. Founded back in the 60s. It is a popular spot for especially people just coming to save a few bucks and come and get their 2-year degree, and then maybe they'll go to like a Portland State or an Oregon State or University of Oregon or something like that. It's a great school. I know a lot of people that have gone there. No complaints. Just kind of one of the downsides is obviously it draws a lot of people into this area. So that's where you kind of get the congestion, and most of the congestion is kind of like I mentioned on that Highway 213 that people are mostly coming to from I-205. So now back on the ground, down on Highway 213, Clackamas Community College being just directly to our right. Got a little strip mall to the left, and then coming up at this intersection, another one called OC Point. You can see traffic's not too bad right here. It's maybe just midday, but definitely once it gets towards, rush hour times, it can get pretty congested right here. So 213 is going to take us outside city limits, and we're going to head a little bit farther out so you can kind of get a feel of what that rural feeling is and what the homes look like out there. So this is inside of Stone Creek Golf Club. Very popular spot. It's award-winning from what I understand. I've golfed it once, not that I'm much of a golfer. One thing that kind of draws a lot of people in here is there's a cedar chip kind of jogging, walking path that goes all along this golf course. It's about 2 3/4 miles. So a lot of people just come here to walk. It's open to the public. A lot of great views, got a great view of Mount Hood. They've got some food as well. You see, you can barely see it peeking out there to the left. And as I kind of drive through, you'll see some of these houses, and then I'm going to take you up in the air so you can kind of get more of an aerial feel for this area and what it kind of looks like once you get outside of the city limits. You'll kind of see how it becomes a lot more rural. You're going to see a lot more undeveloped land. You're going to also find some larger homes here. There's quite a variety of homes in Oregon City, from, like we saw downtown, the older kind of historic homes, to mid-century ranches, to brand new homes, to very large homes. There are quite a few different places in Oregon City where you can find some pretty big homes. In fact, Street of Dreams has been here, I think, twice in maybe the last 15 years or so. Average homes, probably in the low 600s right now as I'm shooting this. Definitely going to change if you're watching this again like 6 months or a year later with home values continuing to go up. Don't really expect home values to dip. Some people talk about that, expecting that we're maybe in a bubble and home values have gone up so much that they just kind of have to come down at some point. But with the shortage of inventory, it's probably not likely that we're going to see home values go down at all. If it really, probably, maybe it's just going to be more likely that they just slow down in growth. So right now, probably low 600s, probably hit mid 600s, closer to 700 in the next 1 to 2 years, depending on what the market does. Get in touch if you have questions about finding a home in this area. Again, there's a ton of different selection. You can pretty much find anything that you want here. And the new construction, like I mentioned too, they're going to be building here for quite a long time. So if you're looking for new construction, you can definitely find it. And because this area is so big, there are typically homes that are on the market, even though with this shortage of inventory. You can typically find what you're looking for, just kind of a matter of competing. And then you can see Mount Hood in the background there. There are quite a few places and homes throughout Oregon City that have a really great view of Mount Hood. So if you like mountain views, and you can actually see St. Helens back there in the upper left-hand corner, Oregon City's got some great mountain views. Back down on the ground, I'll show you what some of these neighborhoods that are kind of around the golf course, this neighborhood is actually within city limits, not too far away from the golf course, but this kind of gives you a feel for what some of these neighborhoods look like on the ground, especially some of this new construction stuff. Now, sometimes one of the downsides with the new construction is the lots can tend to be smaller, and obviously they typically take down most of the trees. So if you're somebody that wants to have a few trees in your backyard, new construction might not be the way to go for you. At least not new construction in one of these bigger subdivisions. You will find a lot of custom homes that are built on like a 1/4 acre or half acre lot where it's just a couple homes. And in those cases, they do often usually keep the trees. So like I mentioned, pretty much anything that you're looking for as far as housing goes, you can find in Oregon City. I know the area very well. I've lived in it before. It's definitely a great town, one of the more desirable places to live around the Portland metro area. So just get in touch, give us a call, send us a text if you do have questions about homes or a specific type of home that you're looking for in this area. And then finally, we're going to cap this off with a little bit of drone footage from up above, kind of where the top of the Oregon City Municipal elevator is, to kind of give you a feel for the entire downtown, the falls, and that Willamette Falls Legacy project that they're working on putting in replacing all of those industrial buildings. So this direction that we're facing is towards Canby. It's maybe 10 miles, or 10 minutes rather, to Canby from here. You're going to see houses kind of all throughout this hillside on the left. There's not too much that's really actually on the water, unfortunately. You do have some railroad tracks that parallel Highway 99 there, so makes it tough for the residential and the commercial buildings with the railroad tracks right there. But there are a ton of homes that are up on the hill that have a really, really great view of the river. And now you can kind of get a better view of that Highway 99. And again, that goes right past Oregon City. Now we're kind of starting to get a view of all of this kind of industrial stuff. Now on the left side of the river, on the westland side of the river, you've got a paper mill. And this is looking back up towards the top of the hill. Quite a few houses back up here as well too. This is still kind of like near downtown Oregon City, so these are kind of still some older historic homes. And now we kind of get a really good view for that industrial area below. Looks like a big area. It is a pretty big area, I guess. There's nothing going on in there. I mean, so it's not something that you really even notice, that if you live in Oregon City. You can see that narrow bridge that we drove over, the Oregon City Bridge earlier. The downtown really kind of starts just beyond that. So what we're looking at from here into that bridge is just kind of all industrial. You can see 99 kind of curving around right there. And you can kind of see down there are some actually excavators right now currently knocking down some of those buildings. Again, there isn't a completion date for that project, and I think a lot of the local developers are kind of still working out who's going to develop what. And then for another point of reference, you can see kind of in the bottom right-hand corner there, the Oregon City Municipal elevator. If you look out on the river, it's spring salmon time. So you got quite a few fishermen out there. Really popular spot for fishermen to go. Fishing's pretty good. I think it's been not great over the past few years for whatever reason. I think the rivers have been a little bit warmer recently, so it's been killing off some of the fish. And then you can see that bridge back there in kind of the left-hand corner. That's the Abernathy Bridge. That's I-205. That'll take you to West Lynn, Lake Oswego area. And then that's also where the Clackamas River, you can kind of see a little body of water beyond the Abernathy Bridge there, which is also where Oregon City Shopping Center is. That body of water back there is the Clackamas River. So that's where the Clackamas runs into the Willamette and goes all the way to Mount Hood. So I hope that gives you a better feel for the downtown, kind of some of the outskirts, what types of homes you can find here, what the living is like here. And if you have questions about moving here or anywhere in the Portland metropolitan area, you can give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or again, if you're coming from outside of the area, you can always schedule a Zoom with us. All right, take care, everyone. If this video helped you, give us a thumbs up and also make sure to subscribe. That way you'll see each new video, which we typically do about 2 videos a week. All right, take care, everyone.